Very good.
Was only us.
Need your microphone on the recording? Yeah. Okay, welcome to the Monday, June 16th, 2025 Board of Selectmen's meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No public input. Approval of minutes. We have minutes from Monday, June 2nd. I've read them. I didn't see anything that needed
Yeah,
to be-
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of June 2nd.
Second motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And we have two sets of non-public minutes.
I put them with your packet, Bob, or you put them in there.
We have one set of minutes at 4:45 PM on June 2nd, and we have a set from 5:07 on June 2nd.
I'll make a motion that we accept both sets of minutes as written.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'm going to make a motion that we unseal the 5:07, the June 2nd, 2025, 5:07 minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Appointments, code officer. Hey, Jack.
How are ya?
Very well, how you doing?
Good. So we have 54 building permits, 14 new houses, and I've issued 14 certificates, and I've done 291 inspections. The police station, I've done the footing, I did the walls before concrete, and I looked at the walls before they coated it, so it was a little rough, but it's fine. I mean, you had some old forms there, so that's fine.
I noticed some delamination of their forms.
Yeah, I got some wood grain walls going on, but it's fine, yeah. It's
It'll be
nothing wrong
fine,
with it,
it'll be
so-
buried.
Yeah, so it's all waterproof, seal coated, so that's fine.
Excellent.
And they're backfilling, and the fire department was here today to spray some water on it so they could compact
So
it a
you
little
did
bit
get
better.
hold of, you did get hold of the chief.
Yeah,
Good.
Excellent.
and I should have a number tomorrow, so, from the local building, so.
Excellent. Excellent. Anything else? Any concerns?
Nope,
So you're saying you will have a number for,
he told me probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the next day. He was waiting for the supply house to get back to him, but he's got everything together now, so.
so we may want to look at having a work session next week.
Mm-hmm.
See if we get
Sure.
something out of it.
You guys all set with Jack?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
No road agent yet. He's due in 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So we'll move along.
Consent calendar
Consent
first,
calendar
but it's
is-
empty.
First and empty. Action items. We have to sign a contract with Cobalt Construction. And for the record, the Selectmen had a meeting with Cobalt Construction last week, and we agreed to hire them as our construction manager for the police station. So we'll be signing that contract today. And and we have a gentle reminder in here that the article for the Tuftonboro Times is due this week.
And who's doing that one?
I am.
Chip is doing that.
For better or for worse.
So Audrey,
Yep.
I don't recall. Did we make a motion in the?
Yes, you did.
So all we have to do is sign.
Correct. Yep.
Correction, not this Friday, next Friday it's due,
The 27th.
the 27th.
But no reason not to push me a little harder. I'm okay with that.
I don't want to give you any undue pressure, undue stress. And we have a couple items of correspondence. We have a list of unlicensed dogs that the people haven't paid their license yet. I expect by next meeting
Mhm.
we'll be acting on this list.
Yeah, there'll be a warrant and then there'll be fines charged.
Okay. We have a copy of an updated year-to-date budget from the Tuftonboro Library. Have you guys had a chance to look at it? Everything looks in order.
Cammy invited them in next month to talk to you, just to give you an update.
Okay, great. And Chris has provided us with a copy of the Ospey Transfer Station recycling facility sticker policy.
Yeah, that was in his folder and we weren't sure why.
Piece of information.
Hello.
Well, do you guys have any, the chief's not due to talk to us until 5 o'clock. Do you see any reason why we can't take him in early since he's here?
Sure.
As long as you can do it in 12 minutes. Because we do have an appointment at 4:50.
And we have an appointment at 4:40.
Right, no,
And he's
no,
not here
but-
yet.
Right, but assuming that he's not coming, or at least not gonna, he's going to be late, we do need to be cognizant of misconduct.
Chief?
I do have a non-public as well. So did you want to still do that at the end? I think that's why I was slotted at the end. I just came early, that's all, so I don't mind waiting.
Well,
It's up to you folks, so.
I mean, we could do
let's get your update out.
yeah,
of
let's
the
do
way.
the update and then we'll have to go back.
Sure. Okay.
280 citations.
We're getting up there. Yeah, so let's see. Call outs for the month of May, we had a medical call, 2 alarms and some suspicious activity. Both Sergeant Lefebvre and I went to a counter ambush tactics class at 6 Hour Academy. And Officer Emerson recertified on the use of the MDT and stuff, which is if we're going to be running stuff through the state as far as motor vehicle records and that type of deal, we have to do annually. So we got that out of the way. Let's see. I think things of note, obviously our directed patrols are up, our citations are up, our accidents are up, which is not a good thing. Our arrests are up. Felonies are down, that's very good. And our incidents or bigger investigations are about par, and we're about 200 calls for service over the same time last year.
Nice thing about that is you have twice the personnel.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We can spread the wealth a little bit.
Yeah.
I gave you this the breakdown of the felonies for the years, and so this past Thursday we did our training for the body cameras, and I am very happy and pleased to say that they're currently deployed on everybody, and we'll work through a little bit of the growing pains, but they are on the street. So.
Are they running the whole time that they're wearing them, or do they just turn them on when they step out of the cruiser?
So there's 2 settings when you're wearing them all the time. There's a 30-second buffer that's a pre-record before you hit the button. It's just kind of there, but it keeps cycling over and over. So if I was wearing it throughout the day and it has pre-record on and it's in ready mode, it's just there to give us a buffer in case something happens. If we're in the station or somewhere like that, we can actually put them into sleep mode, which totally takes out that buffer thing, and it just stops. and then we press a button, it goes right back to that buffer or ready mode. If when we're out on patrol and things like that, we certainly are going to be in that ready mode until we want to press and the record. Yeah, so that's how that works. We're not going to be in a position, nor will the law allow us to just constantly be audio and videotaping 8-hour shifts, that kind of thing. So we do it as we do our services.
And is it the kind of thing that when you, let's say for example, pull over a vehicle, you let them know when you approach the vehicle kind of thing that they're being recorded? How does that work?
Yep. So when there's the state law will say that when you turn around and you make a motor vehicle stop, the person does not have the right to refuse. You have to let them know it's being recorded.
Okay.
So we just make the statement that this is who I am. This stop is being recorded. This is why I stopped you.
Okay.
If it was any other thing, if it was witnesses or victims, we will enter into a scene recording as we go. We will ask permission. And if it's a situation where we're right into an arrest for whatever reason, that individual does not have a say whether they will or will not be recorded. We will record it until our interaction with that person is over.
Okay. Just
Yep.
curious.
Yep.
You don't need to go
Absolutely.
into more details. Just
Yep.
curious.
Now, if somebody has a camera in their vehicle, can they turn it around and record your interaction? Do they have to ask you permission to record an interaction?
In a general rule, police officers do not have an expectation of privacy when they're officiating their duties. So anybody could record us at any time. Yep, which is their right to do so. Yep. All right. Yes, Bike Week is ongoing right now. We're starting to see an influx of bikes in the area. So I just ask that people be patient, as well as keep their eyes open and double check when they're on the road, when they're changing directions, so that we don't have any mishaps. There were a couple things that just came up recently in the past week, which I did not put on your list. I thought I'd throw in. There is another triathlon coming through town August 2nd. It's called the Wolf Triathlon. I signed the permit today, and their route's going to be inbound from Wolfboro on Middle Road, onto Federal Corner, onto Brown Road, and back to Wolfboro on Beach Pond is what we will be a part of. They will have support personnel out there, and we have an officer on, so barring any emergency calls, we'll be monitoring the route to make sure everything is good to go. And then June 7th, we had 2 complaints that came into the police department about potholes on Ledge Hill Road. The first one, there was no incident. The second one, somebody hit one pretty square and punctured a tire, and the vehicle was disabled. The following day, on June 7th, Officer Emerson was working, and he went up and found that there were some that were pretty deep, about 10 inches or so. And he took it upon himself, after a few phone calls to the highway guys, to no avail. He took it upon himself to go to the highway department, get material, and was up there filling the holes so that we didn't have an accident again, or a motorcycle hit him or anything of that sort. I did speak with Road Agent Bean about it after the fact, and his crew was right up there after Officer Emerson was, and kind of continued to do what they need to do from a maintenance standpoint. It seemed to me like they somehow or another pulled rocks because we've got a paving coming, and I think that rain that had just happened that Friday and Saturday prior probably either washed stuff through or did something. So it was all taken care of, but I just wanted to duly note Officer Emerson for going above and beyond, and after a couple trash can fulls of material, got some holes filled.
Well, thank you
So,
on
yeah.
our behalf, please.
Yes, absolutely. And that's all I have for you, gentlemen.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Road agent. Good to see you.
Good to see you. All right. You.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so since the last time we met, some of the projects we worked on have been ditching on some of the dirt roads that it needed it, and grading dirt roads, York raking, repairing a sinkhole in the middle of Union Wharf Road that just appeared out of the blue.
Is that on the culvert that
We inspected, yeah.
that we just recently walked? I
Yep.
saw that patch right in the middle of the road.
Yeah, luckily, Jack Parsons on his way home called me and said, "Hey, you're not gonna believe it, but there's a sinkhole."
Oh.
Came down, inspected it, and it was it was a hole this big, but it went down probably 3 feet
Oh my god.
and became this big. Like, that could have been bad. That could have been real
Sure.
bad,
Sure,
especially a motorcycle or something like that.
sure.
It was big enough the next day. One of my guys, made a joke about it, and he actually crawled in and he kneeled down and he stuck his head out. It's like he could crawl in it. It was that big.
Department of Labor's not watching, I hope.
Yeah.
So is
Right.
that at the culverts down there?
Yeah. Yep.
Because I saw them drilling it today. Or is it a different culvert?
So was there, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
So we ended up putting plates over it for the night. Steel plates that were 3/4 thick, so nobody could fall through it. But we excavated out. Near as we can tell, it wasn't like a tunnel that really went anywhere. So what we think may have happened is we had a little bit of water that ran along the side of the pipe, and it found an opening where they both met, and the dirt went out through there. So we think we got it sealed up.
The culvert itself wasn't perforated.
No,
Okay.
wasn't rusted, but we think where the connector was, the water must have found a little pathway through there and brought some dirt with it. So we packed filter fabric on the culvert in the thing, stuffed it real good so dirt can't go through there anymore. Compacted in gravel, and then on the bank where we think it went through, we managed to push rocks in there. We lined it with riprap and pushed them all in tight, and so far so good.
And that culvert doesn't have a head wall, right? It's just,
Not really. It's a makeshift one. It's old. I mean, that's probably back in the Reggie Kobe days when that was installed. It's old. But yeah, so we think we got it fixed up and seems to be working. I don't think it's sinking. It seems to be working pretty good. But we know at some point, I didn't want to get too carried away. We know at some point that we're probably going to get money from FEMA to do that correctly. So
yeah, only for a year or so.
about a year. Yeah, well, if we can get that through for another year.
It'll be a while.
I mean, I didn't see, I inspected the culvert, it's not rusted. It's not like,
It's FEMA, but they were down drilling today. I'm just putting that out there. There was a drill rig on those culverts today.
Yeah. SW Cole was doing borings on Canyon Road and Union Wharf Road
Yeah.
as part of the contract with HEB.
that was part of HEB. Okay, so
Yeah.
So that's probably coming sooner than we think. I
let's hope so. Yeah, the sooner the better.
Well, once they do the borings, they'll have to get the environmental studies. Yeah.
Yeah, but we won't be putting it on the warrant until next year, and then the work won't happen until after
That
that.
one's already done.
That's-
The
Oh,
only
that
one
one?
Yeah,
you
that's
don't,
already
you
coming
only,
soon.
But that's only one.
the only one you don't have is Sodom.
Good.
Yep, so we think that's all set for now anyways. And,
These grades.
yep, we put up signs on Phineas Graves Bridge, so those are in place now.
Is that a weight limit sign or is it a
This is
single?
One
what we
lane,
said.
one lane.
One lane, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's what we
I remember that
discussed, yep.
discussion, yeah.
We had to make some repairs on the town-owned York Rake as well. Did some welding, and I had to put new rims and tires on it. They just wouldn't hold air anymore. We've started we prep roads for rain by checking the beaver culverts and sumping out the culvert ends, which unfortunately the beavers are back already, so we have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, they're very good at what they do.
Determined and they're resourceful.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've been prepping Ledge Hill. We excavated out rocks underneath, but we backfill and we compact the gravel in 10 to 12 inch layers. So I don't know how that rain, it had something to do with that rain because it held up
Yeah.
all week.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure it just got wet. several.
Well, I don't know if the rain washed down into it and pulled some out, and unfortunately, I was away that weekend, up north, and I was actually on a side-by-side trip with a group of friends, and we were out of range. So I still to this day don't have any messages from anybody, so.
Do you have a number 2 that takes calls when you're not around?
Supposed to, but we think they may have old numbers, that's the only thing, but there's, the town has some new numbers, so.
Yeah, they clear that up, I imagine.
Well, I haven't done it yet, but I will. Yep, make sure that happens. But I did ask my guys and nobody said they have a message or a missed call either, so we're not sure what happened, but it could be an ex-employee that got that call.
When do you think the paving's gonna start?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
Good.
I talked to him today. That's the best you can narrow it down to.
That's
2 weeks.
pretty,
That's still pretty
that's
good.
pretty solid.
Yep. No, we're happy with that. Yeah.
Fourth of July.
Yeah, there won't be any traffic.
Yeah.
I know. I told him I'd like to get it done before July, but we knew from the beginning it was going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's, with the rain, because that slowed him up too.
Yep.
He shot for the middle of June, but it looks like it's going to be.
Well, when he was in here, he said June, July, so
Yep.
it's kind of on track. Good.
Yep.
Well, I'm thinking of it. I know it doesn't have anything to do with you, but last meeting we talked about the school bus turnaround.
Yes,
Did you send off a letter to the state?
I do. Yep, I have that on my list.
Okay.
Is that on Harvest Lane? No, I didn't hear about the turnaround. I guess I just know that.
The state sent us a letter saying that they were going to be very concerned about having a safe turnaround for the school bus when they do the culvert construction. So
I'm 109A.
on 109A, so I suggested that they just go in to North Country Village. You know where the mailboxes are down on the right?
Yeah.
In North Country
Yep.
Village? There's plenty of room to turn a school bus around there. So if it's okay with them, we'll then go to North Country Village and make sure that it's okay with them to send a school bus down there for a month.
So I can do that
Yeah.
update now, so you know. He asked if we reached out to the bus company and he'd reach out to North Country Village. And he said that North Country Village's entrance onto 109A is really steep on the culvert side. And they're hoping to get that corrected as part of the culvert project. And that might be the only concern. So he asked me to reach out to the bus company.
Now,
So basically, if it can happen, though.
is school ending before the project?
No,
Starts.
school's gonna start before the project.
Oh, it's going to start. Okay, I didn't know. I thought it was happening sooner.
Well,
'cause they have signs
They
out.
wanna
and
push
everything.
they wanna push the project off.
Yeah.
And this is a reason to push it off. I'd like to stick as much to the schedule as we can. And if there's any possibility of turning around down there, down by the mailboxes, I think it's a great idea. Just
Yeah.
gotta get everybody else to think the same.
Okay.
So the dock post on 19 Mile Pier is still broken. Were we gonna fix that?
So I don't know if I'm supposed to fix that. I thought we left it. I don't know how we left that, Gene. I was supposed to get you a price.
Yep, you just gave me a price.
I just gave him the price on
Is
it.
that with labor?
Yep.
That's labor and materials.
Yep.
Well, I guess it'd be up to the board of selectmen. You most certainly can go ahead and repair it, or somebody repair it,
Yeah,
and
so
I'll make sure I reach this out to whoever.
I've only got two, but-
Information on,
sorry, I
No,
didn't quite
on
see enough.
the, refrigerator, right?
I do it.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to authorize the payment for the repair.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
I'd also like to make mention that we have the information on the person who broke,
So you can send him a bill.
I'd like to get them to pay for it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But I don't see any reason to hold him up.
Right.
We need to get it fixed and we need to pay the person fixing it, so
Right.
we'll worry about getting the money from
Yeah.
either the person or their insurance company.
Okay, so do I not bill it under account number or anything? How do I do
Just
it?
bill the town.
Just the
You
town
do it
general.
From outside, right?
Okay, yep,
Yes, bill the town.
And then if we get a check, we'll
And
just.
then we'll collect revenue.
okay, so, yep, no account.
Collect the money.
Okay,
Yeah.
And while you're there, we've had a concern about the launch having a hole down at the end in the water. It's been there forever, as far as I
Yeah.
know.
That's prop wash.
Is,
Is it that, the one down there? Is it that ramp?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, because we've
Can you
had to
just
fix the other
look
one.
and see if that's broken, or if it just is prop wash?
Okay,
Yeah, because we only
Yeah.
go as deep as we've gone, but if the plank is broken
yeah, that's a
That's a lot.
cement ramp.
right.
But, yeah.
Right,
Yeah, we can take a look at it. I think in the past I've taken some 6-inch riprap and put it in there, and it seemed like it held pretty good for a couple of years anyways, few years.
I'm not sure you get to do that without a permit.
Okay,
I'm
Didn't
just
happen.
saying.
19 Mile Bay, that fence repair on the ramp down at 19 Mile Beach.
okay,
At the beach.
yep.
You know that fence repair? Did you guys do that, put the metal edging?
No, I don't think that was us,
Oh.
because they gate that off every summer.
Right, right.
No, I think that's Dennis from Parks and
Okay.
Recs that does.
Well, I was
that
gonna
handles that.
compliment because that didn't sustain any damage this year.
Oh, nice.
That,
Well, it didn't
that,
'cause
that,
it wasn't there.
that metal edging did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah,
It worked.
and I think that's all I have for the
Yeah,
road agent.
Okay, very good.
thank you.
Thank you.
I quickly had one thing, the woman from Harvest Lane called again.
She called you?
Yeah,
Oh, so did you ask her about if we could trim them?
well, I knew you had talked to Cammy last week, so I told her I'd get
Oh,
back to
that's
her
right.
tomorrow.
Sorry. That's
Yeah,
right. Okay. So, yeah, we just wanted permission to cut them back.
okay, yeah,
Hmm.
she wants you to,
She does, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because
Yeah.
I didn't get the message it was her that called in either. I just
okay.
got a message that they needed to be trimmed. I'm like, they are on
Mrs.
private property.
Weisenberger?
I didn't get any message who it was from.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we had a resident call about 2 boards on the sand shed being missing and sand coming out.
Oh, that's the town, that's a problem.
2 utes.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some boards. I don't think it's on the sand shed though. I think it's actually on the
I
salt.
just said boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's on this, what I call the salt shed that also stores other things. Yep.
So they just didn't think it looked attractive for the town.
Yeah, no, that's actually on the list of things to do from when they came into the town inspection.
Yeah,
Yep. So,
okay. I'll let her
And
know.
is there any activity at all on your warrant article for building repairs? Have you done anything?
Not
with
yet.
doors?
yeah, not yet. Still, it got busy all at once and we've got to get caught up a little bit and then we'll be good. But I think we're just about there, you know, a couple more days on Ledge Hill.
And start thinking about what we're gonna put on the warrant for road work for next year.
As far as which roads? for
Yeah,
Okay,
for paving. Review the Lakes Region Planning Commission map and recommendations and your recommendations.
Yep.
We'll come up with a plan, but
Okay.
start thinking about that.
well, I think we already know that one. It's going to be Sodom Road.
Mhm.
And then we just need the small road on the,
Yep.
from there. Yep.
Yeah, we need to move the neighborhood roads up into that end of town, I think, next time around. And Melbourne Wharf. That's gonna end up being a warrant article, cause I was down with the safety committee,
Yeah,
and that's not getting any better.
no.
Surprise.
No, but we're waiting for engineering report, right?
Yeah.
Waiting
We
for an
walked
engineering report and a budget.
Right.
Didn't we walk that in like April?
We did walk it, and they
Right.
were,
And we did get an estimate from Tyler on that,
Okay.
but yeah, we can get,
We did or did not?
we did,
We did.
yeah, I remember it was like $275,000.
Okay.
It's just about the same project again as the first one, I guess, Union Wharf, right?
Yeah, it's smaller, but same idea. And we need to figure out the drainage, cause that road is just emptying onto the beach.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. They do make a trench drain that we could put in, but I'm not sure if we need to get a permit from the state for that.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah,
Permit
anything,
for
yeah.
everything.
You're taking road water and
Look at
dumping
it.
it into the lake?
Well, it's washing in the lake now, also
I
you
know,
do is
but-
putting into a dry, cleaner, you know, area, hopefully into, you know, you run it through stone first and.
Yeah, it'd be nice to exit it on the left-hand side rather than.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
It probably actually would have to go into a catch basin.
Yeah.
So it would take, you know, any sand and bring it to the bottom of that. That could be cleaned out every year, so.
Mm.
Yeah, I know how it has to be done, but we still need a permit and probably engineering.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
All right, very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And next appointment, Lisa Conan, County Road. Come on up. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Thank you for taking the time to hear our
Sure,
concerns.
sure. What's going on?
Well, I'm Dan Bisson, or my wife Lisa. And we've owned the house on the corner of County Road and Sodom Road since 1993. We were out west for a couple of years and came back, and there were some issues that we presented to the selectmen at the time, and it did get resolved. One was the drainage coming off of County Road that was actually diverted across our property because we own a piece, excuse me, we own a half acre piece across County Road from our house. And that was being diverted across our property, and Jimmy took care of it right away. So that was the issue. But one of the things that we addressed then, and I believe another time, was our concern of the traffic on County Road. It's a class, I know it got, when we first bought it was a class 5 road, and then I believe it was the spring of 2004, there was a washout, and the town got fed money to upgrade County Road to a class 6 road.
Other way around.
It was the other way around,
Yeah,
class
it
6
gets-
to a class 5.
No, it gets downgraded to a class 6.
Right, downgraded to a class 6, okay. Downgraded. So,
Downgraded.
let me have some explanation,
The class 5 road is a road that's maintained by the town
Okay.
year-round. Class 6 is a seasonal road.
yeah, it was never a class 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, the road was never a class
Before my
5
time.
road.
No.
When we bought it was,
It's been a class 6 for a long time.
okay, so it was never a class, that I know. I mean, it was a 2-track road when we bought the house in 1993 with grass. And local, we had 2 game wardens in town that, you know, that I happen to be friends with, and would say, hey, we got guys going up there if you see any vehicles, because it would be like nobody going up there. It was
Jacking.
literally grass growing in between the 2 tracks. And of course now we've got a lot more traffic, and my biggest concern, we have several concerns. One, we asked that there'd be a speed limit posted on the road. I'm trying to remember the woman's name. That was a selectman, and her comment at the time was, well, if it's not posted, it's automatically a 30-mile-an-hour road, in which case Bill Stockman objected and said, I don't think you know what road you're talking about, because that's definitely not a 30-mile-an-hour road.
No, it's a 25.
Yeah, I think that would be more likewise. I mean that would be a pretty reasonable speed limit for that road. But we haven't taken any pictures of it, and we've talked
I have
about.
some pictures on my phone.
But we have, you know, when they were doing construction on the other side of New Road and County Road coming in, those houses in there, when they were building that, there was a lot of construction vehicles, that 14-wheelers that were coming up and over. And we've had several people in the wintertime that still try to pass up County Road, and they find themselves in the ditch and knocking on our door, and, you know, it's just like, you know, find a wrecker, you know, it says right there, it's not, if you can't, you know, you can't fix
Oh,
stupid.
and they've driven off the road
Yeah,
this time of year. I
yeah,
mean, really off the road, like halfway up the side of the car.
So one of the things that I'm a little perplexed about is the road department came down County Road and cleared the gutters out. So if you're heading up County Road, all along the left-hand side, right up to the top of the hill, that's where some of the wash off. There's some crossover that goes across that diverts the water across. But they stopped it right at our property, and they didn't continue cleaning in between. I have two areas, very small area that I can't get my vehicles in. I just barely get my truck in. But I had talked to one of the workers from the road department, and said, would I be able to put a culvert in here? What I'd want to do is do it right, put in a culvert so that there's a continuous culvert, and I have access to that property. Because right now, the only way I have access is
Is
just
this where you have the storage container?
I have at one spot right there.
You got that there's a little culvert.
Yeah.
There, right?
Right. And then there's a culvert in between another little road that goes in back, and I have a bunch of stone setting in the back. What I wanted to do, and I was willing to pay for it, was to put the culvert, connect the culvert, and then put gravel over that, compact it so that I can make it a road. Because I got a construction trailer that I haul my tools and stuff like that, and I have a dump trailer. And now I'm using the back end of our property to get in and out, which then brings us to another point that if you're headed down Sodom Road, just as you pass our house, there's a sign posted, blind driveway, and that was for Pete and Sandy Lyons' house at the time, because as you come over there, we have the same problem coming this way. So when you're coming this way, like in the morning when I leave, I look first, towards the town garage because I can see the distance there. There's nothing coming. Then I look to my left, and I'll proceed onto Sodom Road. And I'll look behind me many times, and there's people right up on me. So they're coming right up over that hill. They don't see me, and I don't have enough
You
time.
can't see anyway.
There's not enough time for me to make that turn and know that somebody's coming up over the hill. So if there was a sign at the bottom of the hill that just before that hill somewhere that says, blind driveway, that would protect us. Back to so that's as far as Sodom Road, that's the only issue I have with that. I mean, the speeding is the speeding, it is what it is. But the county road, there's going to be an accident someday. It's going to be a bad accident between either two vehicles or a very large dump truck or FedEx or UPS. At the top of that hill, there's a crest, and that crest you can't see. If somebody's coming up, you can't see over that hill. The other major concern that we have is the speed that they come down that road in the dry season. Fortunately, we've had 13 weeks of rain. It's kept the dust down, but my wife has COPD. I have issues as well. And that dust, when you're in our backyard, when they come down that road and they're speeding, it looks like there's a forest fire. And that dust just travels right across our yard and into our yard. And it's just, I don't think it's very healthy for us. And I think if there was a way to slow them down, that's going to prevent it. I know there are other options that they use, a very eco-friendly substance that they've put on some of the roads in Wolfboro to keep the dust down on Lang Pond Road, the first part of Lang Pond Road, they do that, and it helps keep the dust down. But
Well, the other thing we were wondering is, and this is turning it into a one-way only road, not up and down. You can go up, but you can't come down. I know people that live on the other side that have said they'd like to come to the town and talk to the town about putting a fence and have it be a non-pass road, period. Because of the speeding, because it's not a two-car, it's not this. And there's now very few safe places to pull over if you run into someone. Yesterday we saw two cars coming down and people walking up the road. It's just a recipe for disaster.
We were one of the vehicles.
It's a total, and I'm afraid to go up that road now because I don't work, and I see, huge dump trucks going up and down that road. And they meet another car and it's at that blind spot, it's gonna be
Yeah. It's,
all over.
it's just a matter of, and I got to imagine the people on the other side when those trucks come down the hill.
Oh, that's who I'm talking about. Frank Tramfa, he and his wife have spoken to me about it. The new people that live in that house, it's not a popular. I mean, when we first lived in there, the people were going up to Jack Deere. We've had people go up there now to use drugs and come down the road and pass out when they're parallel to Sodom. It's not a shortcut. It's
If you do
it used to be a walking path. That's ideally what it should
when
be.
when we first bought it, that's what it was. It was a walking path. It was not a road. And I don't.
And lots of walkers. Now that the population has increased, lots
we
of
have a lot
dog
of
walkers,
people that-
lots and lots of
Yeah.
people up and down that road walking.
I think it's just, for our safety, pulling in and out of our driveway, which connects to Sodom and County Road. We have a U shape. And the more that they build the driveway, I mean, they built the road up. So
So
she would
much.
bottom out.
I can't even get out of the driveway. And all the water now is diverted towards our house because
Oh.
it's County Road is higher now than our driveway.
Oh, I've got equipment, and I ended up taking the right where our driveway comes out, across from the Conex box. I ended up taking that down so we could get in and out. But what it's doing is just taking up more and more of our
Yeah,
lawn.
we used to be able to do a ride-on mower
Yeah.
up and back easy. Now it's like this.
It's
We
getting
can't.
smaller and smaller and smaller.
And I-
That's not the portion of County Road that you use for entrance and exit. You mentioned putting a culvert in, obviously that would be.
Oh, that's at the very beginning by where that wishing well that we have is.
Yeah,
But that would be between County Road and your house, right?
it's on this side of County Road,
Right.
between the Conic box and just up from that, there's a driveway that goes in. They go parallel with each other. There's an old foundation that used to be there. Used to be a barn there, and that was kind of, they had like a horseshoe type road that went around. And the culvert in between there, when that was put in, it stopped all the access for me being able to get into there. So the trees have grown up. And what I'd like to do is cut the trees down and make that an area where I can pull my vehicles in the wintertime when I'm not using them, or on the weekends when I come home. I can put my dump trailer in there. I got a 14-foot dump trailer, 14-foot construction trailer. And like I said, I was willing to buy the culvert and do the work, and just so I could have it. But
Well, the big trucks that come through, we've been told by the drivers that their GPS is taking them on County Road. So that's a town thing.
I don't know how
That's not a town thing, that's a GPS thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, we don't have any control on them. It's like-
Could,
oh okay. Who,
Starlink could send.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Can we?
GPS will take you to North Line Road if you let it.
Yeah. Can it be posted on both ends that there's a load limit? I mean, I don't know what the RSA on the for Class 6 for.
On Class 6.
it's a summer resort road, as
No,
it were.
it's we don't maintain it.
Yeah.
So we could post it no traffic. We could post it a speed limit. We can post it, but we can't spend any money on it. That's the whole.
I don't know.
Well, we'd love to have a posted no traffic. That would
Well,
be
I don't know, I'm not so sure we can post it for no traffic, because there are other property owners.
not up there, not where we are.
The only one that's
Gail owns a whole section.
I know, and she
Well,
abuts
She
us.
she has access.
She goes to the tarred part.
The Class 5 route.
Uh-huh.
She never comes down County Road.
That's how she gets.
That'd be my concern, is if any other property owners use the road to access their property.
I have had somebody on the other end too say to me, "Oh well, I'm one of the speeders." So
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem putting a speed limit sign on, I have no problem putting a sign top and bottom, even putting a weight limit of 9,000 pounds or something like that, which basically is anything smaller than a pickup truck.
But then you have to enforce it. And that's.
right.
Yeah, well, at least it's enforceable.
I think the easiest thing would be to put no travel or whatever you say, and just do that. And because they're really not trying to sound dramatic,
No.
but there is going to be a bad accident. I mean, I won't name names, but there is an excavator truck that goes up all the time. And it's a huge, huge truck.
What, so, not being all that familiar with the road, what are these construction trucks just cutting off? Like, why are they there?
We don't, they think it's a shortcut, and it's not.
You know, I think it might be going, it's the view, because it's got a beautiful view, you're looking up at the mountains, but I've done a 25 mile an hour, I use 25 miles an hour as a speed limit, because even coming up County Road from New Road, starting right there, if I did 25 miles an hour, because I know that there's families there, and they have kids, and there's roads that come out, if I use that as my speed limit to go up and over to Sodom Road, or I stayed on New Road and followed the speed limit and then took a right at New Road to Sodom Road and timed it to my connections, it is not a shortcut. But if it is a shortcut if they're speeding, and that's what happens. They're not paying attention to the signs if they're, you know, because they're not.
They don't pay attention to the signs in December. They still try to go up the road.
Yeah.
You know, and then they knock on our door, which is not a good thing at all.
Yeah, I'm concerned with the health issue with my wife with the dust. It's really that bad. And I'd be more than happy to set my game cameras out there on the road to show the town in another meeting that, you know, how much this dust is affecting, you know, our property and the cause. And, you know, I don't know what the cameras will pick up as far as speed. And,
No, I believe you. I lived on a dirt road for
Yeah.
many years.
Which is not to say we want it.
The dust
I know.
before it got to my house.
Yeah.
It's just more importantly the ongoing speeding, the big trucks, and someone getting hurt. It's just inevitable, whether it be a walker, a dog walker,
Yeah.
because there's no place to step aside.
No.
There's no place to pull off. There's one little place on that whole road, and then it's trees.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. That's our
I
concern.
don't think we're gonna make a decision tonight.
No. I know there's a process that we gotta.
You've given us food for thought.
Yep.
And we will consider
Yep. And I appreciate
these
your
thoughts.
taking the time to hear our case. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Any
it.
questions, you know, or
Yep.
if you want to come on the property and sit there and see for yourself. I've said to one of Jamie's guys, feel free to park in our driveway. I don't, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Dave.
We will consider.
Chip, thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming in.
All right, you guys have a good evening.
You too.
You do.
All right.
Thanks a lot. See.
Let's see.
Transfer station.
Chief, do you mind if we do transfer station before you, and then we will close out?
Sure, have at it. Sounds great.
I'll be quick, I promise.
All right, come on up.
Don't use
Take a
me for
long
an
time.
excuse.
Spreadsheet. So this is the year-to-date. Well, it's not quite year-to-date. I just gave Audrey a deposit, so
It's close.
it's close. But we're, if you look at the actual budget, we've paid $36,075 in construction debris, and we've brought in almost 41,000 so far. So we're about 4,800 in the green right now on CD.
Good.
I know that doesn't help my argument for scale, but full disclosure, we're actually doing pretty good right now as far as hitting the numbers.
That's been atypical though, hasn't it?
We usually hover right around plus or minus 2,000.
Okay.
So we're up a little more than average. But then the other income that we have is the light iron, the beverage cans, and the cardboard, which every time I give you guys an update, I tell you, and we're about 7,500 year to date for that. And
Talk about waste oil for a minute.
sure,
Last time we talked about waste oil was during the budget season last year.
Yep.
And you were just shy of a full tank, and I think we told you to top it off and get it pumped out.
yes, and I had not, it's not full.
So you did that,
I'm waiting.
you filled it, you got it pumped out.
Oh, no, I
Oh,
haven't
still?
pumped it, yeah. We've seen a huge decrease in the oil. So, I mean, you can see here, 5.
Yeah,
It's
10,
10,
5, 25, 5, 30, 10.
So we
That's not a
haven't,
lot, that's not a lot of oil.
no, it's like 40 gallons maybe total for 6 months.
And
So-
you're still not full.
No,
Okay.
probably 3/4, maybe a little more than that. But
Okay.
yeah, we still have some room. The third page of this document is just something that I wanted you guys to take a peek at. I don't need, really any response right now. I just have food for thought on construction debris, like, for lack of a better word, statement, when these guys are doing the construction.
Yeah.
I think if this was paired with a building permit, they might,
You're still 20% off on your C and D. Revenue to expense. Your revenues are 20% less than your expenses.
but we've spent 36,000, and I brought in,
No, I've got to spend, where are we? C and D, you spent 51,000. You spent $51,000 on C and D as of the 16th.
my last,
And you've got $41,000 worth of revenue, or $42,000 worth of revenue.
yeah, okay, so we're, then, that was information that I don't have.
Yes.
So,
That's
yeah, so, with this week's deposit, I would guess that we're up in an area of 43,000. But, 42,500 for Sandy, so we are, if that's the case, then we're off pace a little bit.
So you got another $2,000 coming in.
1,500, 1,800, yeah, and then, I'm waiting for a couple more checks.
I agree with something like this. But could we also do something for commercial trash haulers?
Yep, yep,
Or make one document that covers both?
sure.
Because
Yeah, we can add that to it.
we've got commercial haulers that we know do surrounding towns.
Right,
If they start in Wolfboro in the morning and finish in Tuftonbury, you know where they're dumping.
yeah, I think that could, the verbiage could be changed a little bit and work perfect for both.
Didn't you say you had a contract with them?
Well, yeah, an old one, we don't have anything
Okay.
new, but it might not hurt to update and have you guys
Yeah,
approve it.
I think they need to be separate.
Separate.
Yeah, because you have guys in the trash business and you get guys in the construction business.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would agree.
I think
That
that's,
sounds pretty reasonable.
yeah, some guy from out of.
Yeah, I don't care if it's separate or not,
Maybe.
but I think they both need to be,
Right.
they both need a document similar to this.
I just thought that this, if we had something like this done, we're not having it notarized, but just letting them know that if they dump illegally, then we'll come after them. And maybe that will keep the honest people from bringing crap in town.
Well, I think putting the property owner on the hook is a good thing, because the contractors are harder to catch. Property owners can't move their house out of town.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think that we don't necessarily have the big issue with the residents doing their business. And it'd be kind of hard, I think, to hold them accountable for the contractor if they say, I'm working at Chip's house. And then they bring in a little crap that's not in your house. But it makes me fun too.
Key to a building permit. I mean, what do you have this thing for? I mean, obviously we're roofers, it's kind of hard.
Right,
But,
right.
I mean, I know we had a permit that went through last year, where they're gonna tear the whole house down and build another house.
I hope we don't get that.
We're gonna get some of it.
But yeah, I'm thinking that if this, I don't want to make more work for Jack. I know Jack has
Right.
plenty of work, but I think if this, certification was done in conjunction with the permit process, then it's up, the onus is on the contractor or the homeowner, like you said. They thought that's how they turn it in. When they turn it in, they get approved. They don't turn it in, they don't get approved. And this just, and when they have their contractor, they can get a copy of the contractor and say, these are the rules. I think it might not be the permanent answer, but we have to start somewhere.
Well, I mean, Jack may not have to do a lot. I mean, if somebody shows you a copy of a valid current building permit,
That would work too.
right?
I would think,
Yeah, it shouldn't be on us, it's on them.
But-
It's a public service that is above and beyond what we normally have happening.
yeah, I mean, my position on this was, if we hand out, if I turn to build something and I get a packet handed to me, but if we put this in the packet, it would cover us.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any issue with Jack putting a piece of paper in his package that he hands to somebody,
Right.
but I don't think he should have any enforcement.
Yeah, he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have.
No,
any
no,
enforcement,
no, I agree.
And if they sign a form or hand you a copy of a valid building permit, that should be proof enough.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, I hate to get too high tech with this stuff, but that last holiday that we had off, we had trash in underneath our loading dock. We had CD dumped outside the gate. That's something that we need to talk about, at a different time maybe. But we have, I hate to say this on camera, we have a ordinance that says illegal dumping, first offense, $50 fine. Well, that's $350 less than his ticket for littering.
Right.
So I think that I think we're kind of knows how to spite our face
Point taken.
when these people can go, screw it, the dump's closed, I'm dumping outside the gate, and if it gets me, it's a $50 fine. So I think as far as an ordinance is concerned, we may have to revisit that and jack that up to, $500 or something.
Yeah.
We have to make them not want to dump
Right.
crap outside the gate.
Yeah.
Because then we just end up having to spend time picking
Well,
everything up.
if you institute this, you can put some language in here, you can pull it. I mean, I don't care if you're a Tuftonburg resident or not, if you dump outside the gate construction debris, you don't come back with your construction debris, you take it to turnkey, do whatever you wanna do with it.
And
You're not obligated to take it.
for $250, I can put a
Game camera.
a camera with Wi-Fi hooked to my computer, and if the alert goes off, I can look at my phone and see who's dumping. So that's something that we might have to just institute at the gate, you know.
And you catch a couple of guys, and we do exactly what we did the last time. No C&D. Cut it off. I mean, it's the only things that work in that particular venue. It's sort of like the damage to the gate down at 19 Mile Bay you were talking about. You know, at some point in time, you just have to say, no, don't get to do this anymore. It's costing your fellow taxpayers too much money. I mean, currently he's 20 grand upside down on his C&D, or the town is on C&D. So you and I and everybody that's watching this show and all the other people that don't watch this show are paying that $20,000 so that somebody else can benefit from not taking it to turnkey. You know, somebody's building their $1 million home and getting a $20,000 advantage on their disposal. That's the problem I see. So and you were here the last time we tried that, or did that.
Yeah, I missed the meeting, fortunately. Had
I
COVID.
mean, I think we're definitely on the road to scales, but now this dumping on the outside of the gate is a totally different matter. I mean, I'd make it a felony if I could, but.
Yeah, well, it's just, and here's my thing, that we're gonna start seeing, and he's gonna start seeing a huge increase in trash. Because I've been working with some of the other towns, doing surveys, and most of the other towns around us have stopped taking mattresses, stopped taking tires. I mean, it's pretty soon, July 1st, we're going to have a statewide regulation on batteries, so batteries are going to be more restrictive. So, unfortunately, places like Land Pond Road, and, you know, I think it's going to become a dumping spot, you know. To our Sergeant's Crossing, there's going to be a, you know, halfway down there'll be a pile. Because people need to get rid of this crap and nobody's taking it. And it costs, it always boils down to costing us money. I talked about the scales costing money. If we could turn a bad thing into a good thing, if we spent $100 grand and bought a grinder, then we could start charging these towns that don't take tires, or that do take tires, charging them to grind up product. You know, hey, if you want your tires and bring to us for $7 each, we'll grind them and we'll get rid of the stuff. And also the cost that way, but it's, I think we're going to be showing in a little bit of a trash crisis. I mean, not only seeing the tires and mattresses, but household trash. We've completely filled up our compactors 3 times. It's only June. So we haven't even got the summer people here, and we've already put weekend trash in open tops 3 times this year. So it's going to be a busy, busy summer. I'm not pushing for another compactor. We need it, you know, half a dozen 8 times a year, yeah. But it's a free $5,000 investment. I think we need other things first. But
I'd have to probably see next month's budget. I mean, right now,
Yeah.
you're way ahead. You've got $57,000 worth of expenses against $141,000 worth of budget, so you're less than 50% out there. You're in the 40s. So you seem busy,
what, right,
but it's not reflected in the cost.
right. It just depends on, you know, certain days might be busy around us. So, can you guys get copies of these RFPs? Just, you can keep them in touch. These are the RFPs we talked about for the windows and the roof. If we can, at some point in time, can get you guys to sign off on those, we'll put them out and get them in the paper for bids.
I don't think we had to vote on that, it's already been voted on.
I just didn't know if you wanted to review them.
Just if the language of the RFP is okay, because Chris and I looked at it.
Yeah, it's pretty minimal.
I really didn't get too into specs and all that stuff, because I figured that whoever bids on it's going to come and look at it,
I'm going to expand on the wording. Let me, when I get to work tomorrow, I'll send you a copy of one of my RFPs that I use at the county. We've been using it for years.
Cool.
It's minimal too, but it's, about 3 pages. Not the 20 pages that you get with a lot of RFPs. It's about 3 pages. Covers about 7 areas of detail. Look at it.
Yeah, I grabbed that template from when I found it when I posted for another town.
I'm not saying you have to use
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so thank you. That's helpful. And the only other thing was the schedule. I've got the schedule roughed out from this month, but straight through till September. So I'll give us a copy of it, and if you guys want a copy of it, I'll give it to you.
Schedule for what?
For
For employees?
Yeah. Just so that we know, who's going to be there and who's off. It's subject to change if somebody wants to take a day off, but
Who's in charge on the weekends?
Barry and myself.
Yeah, I don't see you and Barry on the, oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. Are you both there on weekends?
When, if we have both there, when will we have the center?
At least one of you is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did this so that we would always have one of us there.
And we're all set for Island Day.
For all set for Island Day, I've got the dumpster ordered for Island Day and ordered for the hazardous waste in September. We have help scheduled, and the fire department has been putting the
Yeah, it's already on the
message
sign.
on.
Yeah.
I just told them if they didn't have any other messages, if they wouldn't mind running that, and then when we get closer to hazardous waste day, they'll be running that on their signs, and then on hazardous waste day, Chris is going to bring the signs up to the transfer station, and we'll use them as, direct direction traffic and whatnot, but public information, basically.
Now, Island Day, where do you put the dumpster on Island Day?
We're on the dock,
Right on Pier 19?
Yeah.
Right on the pier.
What
So-
day is it?
the 18th of July. And what we do is we get there at about 7. We don't start until 8, but we have to meet the truck that drops the dumpster off. Because if we're not there, it gets filled up. Literally, we've showed up there and it's been half full in an hour. So it's ridiculous. And we don't have control over what goes in, when we're there, we have Frank Tranchi comes down and we separate the metal and separate, so it's organized, but if we're not there early, it goes to hell in a handbasket quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, I think good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yes.
Do we,
So,
we had nothing in the consent calendar?
nothing, it was empty.
Okay.
All right, so we have a non-public with the chief, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go into non-public under RSA 91A:3, 2A, personnel. Do I need to read the whole thing? Okay. Murray, yes?
Duffin, yes?
Alden, yes. Are the,
Just.
are there towns coordinating prosecutors? In other words, we don't need to have a full-time prosecutor working for us, but can we share that with some other towns? Is that how it's been working, or how it's not working?
That's how, so the issue of hiring a prosecutor would be something that would be beneficial here, I think, to keep people from officers on the street. So to turn around and answer your question, I think there are a lot of regional prosecutors that are happening. This particular one that Ossipee uses, that Molten Borough just hired, they've got Farmington, and there's like 5 or 6 others that particular attorney's office uses. So I think it's getting to the point where they are in fact starting to use regional ones, and I think that's where we may benefit from that, is to turn around and see if we can find somebody local or somebody that will work local that we could turn around and kind of jump on board, share the costs, and then help us along from the prosecution standpoint.
Where's the dividing line between your potential prosecutor and the county's prosecutor?
County Attorney's Office will handle all felonies, and they're going to handle all domestic violence cases. And then the line is drawn. Anything from that, anything outside of that would be a department handled
So
prosecution.
you could even go for a contested traffic ticket.
Correct. Yep.
Would you send a prosecutor to handle a contested traffic ticket?
Inevitably, I would like to have an officer handle their own traffic citations if we can get them up to that point. But if there does need to be somebody to kind of put the officer on the stand, which is your witness, then, you know, it is beneficial to utilize people in that fashion as well.
I guess I'm not sure that we can get to the point of knowing what we're buying until your numbers have jumped by tenfold from last year on traffic stops, for instance, or citations. And I can see, not that I see felonies growing that fast, but a lot of stuff that you do is being done better because you have a full staff. And I'm not sure you can actually make an assumption about cost for a prosecutor until you've run through it a little longer than we've currently had. I mean, you'll have been full staff for a couple of months.
I don't, is that, and Jamie, you mentioned earlier that you looked at a few years worth of arrests. Is that something you had mentioned earlier? Because you were basing your numbers on some historical data, it sounded like.
Correct. I went back 5 years.
Okay.
Separated them for total number, separated them, how many were felonies, how many were domestic violence that I am not doing, and then looked at the numbers that we were doing. I don't have those numbers with me, but I think our high number, because a majority of our arrests are domestic violence based. I mean, that's where things are at. But our highest number, any given of those 5 years, I think was at 13, and we had as probably a lower number as 5. But I have seen a trend in the last 5 years where we're starting to up the amount of prosecution that we're doing from 6 years ago. I'm not sure if it's the community, I'm not sure if it's society, the world, I'm not sure what it is. And now that we're full staffed, we are pushing numbers. Here we are in June.
would your goal be to get it in? Are you considering this for sooner rather than later, or are you considering this for the budget year for 2026?
I heard you say that you're not having many people get on your part-timer position that you wanted, so, and you had money, so it sounds to me like he wants to.
Right, I'm just
wants
getting
to
clarification.
Put his toes in the water this year.
Right, that's why I'm getting clarification.
The ideal aspect would be to utilize that money, relabel it, start here in July this year, budget for next year and any subsequent year if it's working and we want to continue.
So are you willing to forego that part-timer position for the rest of the year to accomplish this?
Yeah, I've put a lot of feelers out, and so have the other guys. And I think there's a combination of some issues. Agencies that are short-staffed are working a lot of overtime. Those officers don't want to come and work for somewhere else part-time. They're getting burnt out, and I think that's the biggest issue so far. I had a few people that reached out that were certified, but when I started to ask them or explain to them what I kind of needed, maybe an evening shift here and there, that kind of deal. They had a certain shift that they wanted to work based on their other current jobs, and so therefore they just aren't. It's just not panning out. So I really am seriously thinking about the consideration of calculating that money for a prosecutor to kind of aid in that situation, free me up, free any officer up from trying to have that task in the future.
And if you had a part-time prosecutor, you may not need that part-time officer
Correct.
to fill the void?
Correct. I mean, I think that's the easy way where the money would be coming from this year. I think it was something that was said to me, I believe, in the final budget committee meeting that I had last fall, was the part-time position money was going to stay in my budget for 2025. If we come to 2026 and it's still an open position that hasn't been expended, then they would be looking at that, which I feel is fair, but at the same token, that's the future. If I can't fill it, I don't know what else to do.
How much money is in that line item?
I believe it was 13,000 and change.
So it's not a budget buster.
It's not
No.
budgeted separate.
Right.
Okay.
Is there any reason from a legal perspective we can't shift the money?
We're not shifting it, he's just relabeling the task.
Right.
So they're working for the police department. So it could be a part-time police officer or a part-time prosecutor, I guess. Still part-time help. With no benefits.
Right.
It's probably a contract though.
Yeah, there is. The individual I spoke to had turned around and gave me an idea of a contract that was used, where they came from, and I do have copies here that I can disseminate to you if it's something you want to review, or we need somebody to review.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think you're gonna pick up more cases that aren't domestic violence or drug related or whatever the county attorneys or the felony level. Just having more officers out there, the beach is gonna create some civil penalty stuff that, other than traffic tickets, so there's gonna be more happening that may be contested or maybe just paid.
Yeah, having the extra eyes on
Yeah.
eyes on things, people would be getting away with less in theory, and therefore up the up to requirement for the prosecution. I could see
So
that.
what do you think, in a day, a week?
I don't think that it's as clear cut as that. I think that it's paying what is requested. Obviously, if it's fair and agreeable, and then it's really, I mean, all those things included things like if we would like the individual to review arrest warrant affidavits, things like that, which quite frankly Sergeant LaFave and I are already doing, so that's not a too big of an issue. But the consultation aspect is all included in a price that we can just call and ask a question. What do you think? What charges might be forthcoming that we could use? That kind of thing is all built into it. And then, we can reassess it as the year goes. But I think we were kind of looking at the, a high number of arrests, and anything that's with this dollar figure is included. So I don't think it's as easy as, quite frankly, if we had a lot of cases going to trial, we're going to get our bang for our buck. If we don't have as many going to trial, then in a sense, it's kind of a retainer, so to speak, that's there.
I think we need to
For the
look at
service.
contracts, see what we're buying, and get some advice. Depending on the amount, we could put it on our legal line if we had some sort of pushback about your police budget, but
Oh,
it'd be better.
I don't think that's what the legal line is for.
well, and beyond that, given that the officers have been doing a lot of the prosecution already,
Right.
to me it feels a little bit more closer to a police budget than a legal budget.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
I
sure.
agree that this could very well be a natural progression of a growing town.
Right.
And I'm not opposed to it.
So let's have a copy of the contracts that you've got.
Absolutely.
And then we'll take a look at them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do they come with references?
I can probably get them.
Yeah.
Yep,
So,
absolutely. All right, just something to ponder. I didn't necessarily expect an answer today, but,
Well, you don't get an answer to that. But you've got
I was not expecting, but I do think that going this route, we when I was in New Durham, we utilized a prosecutor that was out of Farmington PD, and it worked well. We got the cases to him. He handled things in Rochester District Court for us, and I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing this migration to a multi-jurisdictional prosecutor kind of thing for cases the county attorney's not handling. So just wanted to be proactive and see if we could jump on that ship too. So,
yeah, it doesn't take all of your officers' court time away,
right.
but, because they still have to testify.
That's correct. That's correct, yeah. They'd still be witnesses in their own cases,
Takes
absolutely.
the burden of paperwork off of them.
Yep. That's all I have. Yeah,
Okay.
awesome.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And you can give us a recommendation on a county road at some point in time.
Would you like it now?
Sure.
Okay. County Road. When you drive up County Road, in regards to how wide the road is with their concerns about vehicles going off, there are some areas that have very, very deep ditch lines. Very deep. Cars will start to teeter if they drop into them, kind of thing. You start to get some bigger vehicles, and maybe even something like 1-ton dump bodies trying to pass each other there. I think it's going to be kind of close there in some of those areas of that road. I do not believe that there are signs for speed posted on that road. And it would, a town road that is dirt would obviously default at 25 miles an hour. I think coming down the hill at 25 miles an hour towards that family's home to a stop sign at Sodom Road, I think is going to be fast. It's going to feel fast. It's going to look fast. The dust is kicking up. So I'm not sure what to do about the speed aspect. When I was interim chief or I first became chief, believe that I had Lisa Conan approach me about the dump trucks that were coming down and using that as a cutoff, and I did bring it up to the board at the time about maybe we ought to consider no through trucks signs, and I do think the limiting the trucks on that road and seeing what we can do from the speed aspect, I think would be minimums in my opinion. I have had officers checking county road for speeders on that side. The sporadic vehicles that are coming through there are not to levels of concern that we are making motor vehicle stops. Now, I've only asked for a directed patrol since last week or about a week and a half ago to sit up there and see what we get. Again, I haven't spoken with those individuals about what are the hot times for us to get more fish out of the barrel kind of thing. So I can certainly follow up with them to see if I can get an officer in the right place at the right time and see what we get for numbers on radar. Other than that, I don't know that the town would be successful with totally shutting that section of the road off. But that's not my decision to make. I do think the trucks would make cutting the trucks out of the situation would be probably the most advantageous, and then try to address the speeding and obviously put signs up, post it. I'm not sure if there's a sign that says no winter maintenance. I'd have to go and look. But I know there is one on Lang Pond Road so
Yeah.
maybe something like that
Well,
if it's not there.
There was a sign that said no winter maintenance, because that's camp.
Right,
road.
right.
This is a class 6 road, so there'd be no maintenance.
No maintenance at all. Okay, I get it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm wondering why it was maintained by the town and if it's a
There was
plastic.
and I wasn't a selectman at the time, so I'm not gonna take any of the blame. But there was a flooding issue up there that the selectmen were awarded some flood control money that
Okay.
went in there, so it really wasn't road
Yeah.
money, it was flood money, so they saw a difference.
I believe at sporadic times, I think the road was raked, but I could be wrong on that. I mean, Jim would be able to answer that question. But I don't
I know
think
it
a
was
lot was put into it, that's
That
for
was
sure.
privately raked a couple of times,
Okay, all right.
but I don't know that, I certainly hope our road agent didn't spend any money on it.
And
Is that it?
from a dust perspective, other than controlling speed and maybe trucks, there's nothing that we are going to do with regard to putting down materials.
You can't spend any money
No,
on the
I know.
road, so.
So it's not like, we can only control it from the view of the vehicles, or lack thereof, controlling,
Right.
keeping them off.
Yeah,
I think they have class 6 road
I mean,
signs too.
Yeah,
This
there are
road
class
is
6 roads, and
not
we've
maintained.
had homeowners on class 6 road, or property owners on class 6 roads, do road work at their expense with our permission, so, if they wanted to put in speed bumps every 50 feet, or some other remedy that they thought was good, they would need to come to us and then go to the road agent to make sure they did it properly, but that would be at the homeowner's expense. So
Right.
if they wanted to oil the road, it was that product that he was talking about. We could say yes, but that's as far as
Right,
we can
we
go.
just can't pay for it.
Right.
and they were 100% correct. We have had some cases where GPS companies have said these class 6 roads are actually pretty good, and we have had some sedans stuck on our end of North Line Road trying to get to Wolfboro, and we've had some others. Willand Road is another one that is supposed to be a through shot, and people get down in there and and they usually go too far trusting their GPSs, and then all of a sudden they need some help to get back out. So we do have a couple roads in town that's a reoccurring issue. Yeah, to get some help to those people to get them pulled out or whatever. So, but I would definitely say I don't think that there should be larger trucks going through there by any stretch of the
Well, like I said,
imagination.
I
So,
started saying earlier before I was interrupted, I have no problem putting the speed limit on that, even reducing it coming downhill. I have no problem putting signage, making sure that the proper signage is at the top and the bottom, and even limiting the size of trucks to say pickup trucks to pickup truck weight, which is what, around 9,000 pounds thereabouts maybe. I'm not sure I want to close the road though. That's just my opinion. I'm not
We
sure. I
could
want-
we could take it in steps.
Yeah.
You know, I think the proper signage is certainly.
And I have no problem
Right.
with him putting in his own culvert if he wants to put in a culvert.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on in that we take it in steps because we don't know what the remedy is going to be if, you know, we do it in pieces and see how it
Right.
works,
Right.
and then go from there. So we shouldn't be jumping ahead anyway.
What was the first step?
Signage.
Speed limit signs and no through trucks.
Yeah.
Or weight
Well,
limit.
a weight limit, because you say no through trucks, then people are gonna say, well, I can't take my pickup truck. Well,
Can't
a
take
pickup truck can probably go through, but
Right.
a one-ton dump truck
Right.
that has a weight
Right.
limit of 15,000
Right,
pounds,
so-
probably not.
So probably weight restrictions. Okay. So we'll start there.
See how that works, and then we'll go to no through
Mhm.
trucks.
Yeah, if we have, yeah.
Well, seeing as we're making a couple of decisions right now, do you wanna put a speed limit, a reduced speed limit?
Well, I
coming
think
down
on the
hill?
sign that says Class 6 road unmaintained, speed limit 25 miles per hour, I think it needs to be a statement.
Yeah, but I'm
I'm
saying.
not gonna post the whole road.
No, but I'm saying coming down the hill,
Right,
as the chief and the property owner suggested, that we reduce the speed limit from 25 to say 15.
yeah, that's fine with me, I mean, it could be, I've driven over a county road,
And perhaps it should be 15 both ways.
yeah, I mean, it has to be the same, I would think, to make sense.
Well, then I will make that motion that we reduce the speed limit on the dirt section of County Road, the Class 6 section, to 15 miles an hour. We put proper Class 6 signage at the top and bottom of the road, and we restrict the weight of vehicles that travel that road to 9,000 pounds GVW.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. That's a start.
Yeah,
and I'll keep my directed patrol in place. See if a presence makes a difference too, but I think the signage is a great start.
And
it is a Class 6 road, you could actually back a cruiser in there and block the road while you're doing your directed. And there's no reason not to, there's no absolute authority to keep the road open for traffic at all times, so. I think there are ways to work this deal that make sense. And it does, as he said, it doesn't, it's no longer to go down to New Road to go across, it's just,
No, I know.
Right.
And certainly consulting with the property owner on when the patrols,
Yeah.
you know,
we'll
they're
do that.
clearly motivated to have you engage with them, so.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
And the only
Yep.
time that I've had opportunity to go down County Road is when I've had business up at the top of the hill. In any of those houses that are at the top of the hill.
yeah,
Because my house is to the right.
yeah.
Go down County Road, then make my way back home.
Yeah.
But to go around to try and make it a shortcut,
Yeah, I mean, have a dump truck,
no.
it doesn't make any sense. You're gonna go Joni Gales, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
You're driving over a dirt road that's steeper
Yeah.
than County Road.
Right.
But it's paved. All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Town administrator and selectmen's updates. Go on up, town administrator.
Ladies
I'm
first.
finding my notes. I'm looking.
Too fun.
Yeah, it was burning.
Burn.
I would carry my own phone now.
So I finished this Primex supervisor training. I was there for 3 days last week. It was really helpful networking, and I talked to Bob offline about maybe having Primex will do the DISC assessment for
The what?
it's an assessment of how you are personally. So I'm very analytical and
Okay. So it's personality.
yeah, and how you work and how to communicate with each
How you're
other.
wired.
Okay.
Yeah,
They dissect your brain and see how you're
So
wired.
ENFG kind of thing.
yeah, it's similar.
DISC.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's similar. And they do it for a significantly reduced rate of $45, and then we come up and if we have Ashley and Cammie do it, they would talk about the three of us about our.
There were 4 of us, but
But you need it too.
the 4 of us.
The 4 of us.
Right.
Am I 2 people today? I could be.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, not you guys.
The others.
Ashley and
Oh.
Cammie and me. 3 of us.
Okay.
The 3 of us do it because we work together. I mean, I work with you too, but one of you might go away.
All of this will go away once AI takes over anyway, so. it's only
Right.
For 2 years.
So that would be a $90 out of my training budget.
Yeah, I'm not opposed if they're willing. I don't think we should force it on them.
Mm. Yeah, we're going to talk about it tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I think it should be voluntary, but yes,
Okay.
I support it nonetheless.
HEB scheduled SW Cole to come do borings today at Canaan Road and Union Wharf Road. I guess, do you want me to forward you emails like that so you're not blindsided?
It would be nice, yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I mean,
Yeah.
unless they're only giving you 12 hours notice.
No, I think my schedule is wonky with being out 3 days and then being in. And we had a lot of police station meetings and tracking. And then I had written down the 109A culvert because I did get that response from Kurt Mudgett. And do I contact the school to find out who's the bus company in town?
Governor Whitworth.
Yeah.
And
they have
So
to-
they have the contract. So do I need to involve them at all? Or just
Well, you need to probably contact
the
Governor
school?
Wentworth
Okay.
to find out who the bus company is, and then contact them, right?
Well,
There-
Governor Whitworth is the bus
There
company.
is no bus
Oh.
company.
Oh,
It's the SAU.
oh, the SAU actually owns the buses.
Oh,
Yes.
That's unusual.
that explains a lot.
A lot of towns these days are third parties.
And then we had the payment for the contractors on the police station, which was a little emergency, but it got handled.
It's handled from here forward, correct?
Yes,
You made it clear how.
I think I did.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I have since last meeting.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, I had, we've got Audrey still here. Let's get some input from the solar people about what's happening with the solar company. I haven't heard, we haven't heard anything, and it's getting towards the middle of June. And maybe in a one-page clarification on these culverts that we're talking about.
Okay.
Just what the status is and going forward. Neither, or Audrey and I's numbers don't completely agree, but it's pretty close on the police station. I'm seeing, I think, somewhere around a $12,000 benefit going forward. So they underspent the concrete budget by about $12,000. I did direct Jory to put together a list of all of the stuff that he's purchased and spent money on out of that deposit, because the thing that drove that emergency last week was the deposit's been spent on stuff, and he didn't have the cash to go forward with his payment to the concrete guy. So I think between all of us, we've got that pretty well settled out. I did talk to, and we'll monitor that as we go forward. I did talk to the assessor today, and he says that he's working on the final part of the reevaluation. So we should have that in plenty of time for setting the tax rate. But everybody's property values went up. And I'll let them swing, they can think their tax is gonna go up, but the tax rate's gonna go down, because it always does.
Right. Values go up, rate goes down.
Right, because we only have to raise the same amount of money.
We have our bottom line of our budget.
Right.
The interior drain is going in, I think Jack mentioned that.
Yeah.
And the exterior drain, he's got the stuff there to do that.
Yeah.
The fire department watered down so they could do the compaction. So his statement to me today was that he should be ready for subs next week. So should keep working on that.
Good. Still got a fair amount of work to do,
There is, yeah.
but
But somebody
it's looking
can
good.
do
I took a swing in there before I came here today, and looking good.
Yeah, and it'll clean up. He's gonna have to bring some material in for Phil, because he doesn't have enough. And his stone, he doesn't have enough stone to do it, but it's all well within the budget parameters.
And so anything that he's bringing in is already covered, right?
No, what do you mean?
Well,
It's in the bid,
it's in the bid, okay.
yeah.
So it's not gonna be considered an extra, is what I guess
We're
we're.
never doing extras again,
Okay.
unless he has a real change of order.
That wording is not gonna appear. Good. Good.
And there was some question about the septic design. So Chris was gonna get with HEB about the septic design. Cause we moved the building. I don't think we moved the septic system. But when Jory was at the meeting, when we all had the meeting
Mhm.
together, he said that something about 101 feet was
The elevation.
yeah, but it's 102 feet. He just was trying to remember it. So we double checked all of that, and the nail in the telephone pole is 102 feet. And his top of foundation is 98.2, I think. So it's all exactly the same numbers. And we did check the level and the square, so. I think it's, and Jack's walked Jory through the insulation of the foundation, where you have 2 inches on the walls and 2 inches on the floor, and they're beveled together on the corners, and I think they've come up with, and that probably at the next meeting we'll solidify that, but the plate being a 2x10 versus a 2x12, it still gives us, I think he said it gave it, Jack said it gives us 2 inches of free air between, or space between the two walls, which is what you're looking for. And Jack mentioned, I think you heard him, that he's got another bid hopefully tomorrow, so I'd like to plan on it.
Yeah, bid from a local contractor, and Jory was trying to pick my brain. I didn't give up anything about him submitting.
Right, well, we've talked to him about it, and
Which is fine. He can submit just like anybody else.
right, but he needs to flesh it out a lot more than he
Mhm.
did,
Yep.
so that we're getting what we're buying.
Does he understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he hasn't done it, but he understands it. You
Yeah.
gotta get Chris to help him out on that. That's it for me.
I think the only thing I've got is, we now have the okay from the association to take care of the electric. So I'm gonna get with, my gosh, Scott?
Scott,
I'll contact Scott, get that, scheduled, and then I'll get a check from the association and we'll get it done.
fantastic. Did we vote on giving him permission to do this?
What are we talking about?
The power at
The
the park, at the town park.
Did we award that?
I thought we, no?
I'd have to go back and look at the minutes.
Yeah, it was, I think it's like 3-4 months ago that we had talked about it.
Yeah, and it was only a few grand. And we're not paying for it, but we have to give permission for them to do it.
So now we have a donation that's paying for
We
it.
have a donation, yes.
So we have to vote to accept the donation, we have to vote to give him the job.
Yeah, do we have to do a public hearing for a donation that small?
Yeah.
Okay.
And do we know exactly how much it is?
It's 3,600.
Excuse me, is the conservation commission call?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
come on through.
Thank you.
On the dot,
Thank you, excuse me.
$3,600?
No, no worries.
What's that?
$3,600?
Correct.
You need to make that motion, Dave, because I don't know who's giving us the money.
The Tuckenborough Association, so.
Okay,
So the motion would be
so
to
accept the donation.
accept the donation for 3,600 from the Tuckenborough Association and to give permission to Scott Thompson
Yeah.
to do the work at his ability, schedule wise,
Yeah, as he
At Central
proposed
Park.
at Central Park.
Central Park.
I'll second.
There we
Any
go.
further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We pass that along to Dennis.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
well, I think I told you, Bob, when I was at the Primex training, one of the examples they used is that their insurance does not cover inflatable houses. So that was one of the things Dennis was going to do for Old Home Days.
Is he aware of this now?
He is aware,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cover
if-
what?
if-
Bouncy
Bouncy
Oh,
houses.
bouncy houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, if our insurance doesn't cover it, we can't have it.
No.
It sucks. I mean, it does.
I guess I feel like bouncy.
Are Duncan booths covered?
I don't know. That was fun.
Barrels with floating apples, are those covered?
How did we ever get a cardboard boat race?
Oh, that's on state property.
Oh, right, good point, good point.
It's the lake.
Right.
We have,
The state absolves themselves of any liability, so, it's, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate.
It is, yeah.
So, any other business?
Did we
Oh, yeah, I wanted to say something. We had a resident come in last meeting or the meeting before about the parking along 19 Mile Bay at the beach.
Yeah.
And I drove there and I looked at it. And I'm of the opinion that the parking along the fence, where the cars park, they usually park in, nose in or back in, whatever, is great for cars, but we should not allow trailer parking along that stretch of road, on that side, on the
Yeah.
beach side. We should limit trailer parking to the other side of the road.
So signage.
parking
Or the boat parking lot, but you know, we have people that drop their boats in the lake for the day, and they go fishing, and they come back and whatnot, and those are the people that park along the side of the road. I would not be opposed to limiting that parking to, what would that be, the northeast side of the road?
Yeah.
And reserve the lakeside part, for just vehicles only, cars, pickup trucks only. Again, it's a start.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to that. So signage, Is what you're.
Yeah, who would do this, who would do the sign? Would we have to get permission from the state? Because that's a state road.
We're putting a sign on the fence, I would think. The fence is on our property.
Yeah, but that's a short fence. I'd want to continue it down to the, what's the name of the road?
Bay Road, I think, or something like that.
Whatever it's called. I would want to
I'll ask
extend that.
DOT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would make that a motion, that we restrict parking to cars and pickup trucks only.
On the western.
Southwest side of the road.
Lakes
Yeah,
Lakeside of the road.
between the bridge and
Whatever that road
whatever
is.
that road is.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those
Yeah,
in-
I don't know that the state's gonna get signage together, even if they agree to it in time for this summer.
Probably not.
So I would only say that maybe we wanna revisit this once we hear from them and put some signs on the fence. Cause if there's, that's where I've seen the trailers parking, is right where it's wide and there's,
Mhm.
you know, not down by Lad's house, but, or, is it Lad? No.
Lassie, Fran
Lassie's
Lassie.
house. Right. But yeah, I'm fine with voting. I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we've done something.
And are we all going to, Belknap? Are you going to the Belknap thing, which I think is this month?
That was last weekend.
It was last weekend?
Yeah.
I
Never mind.
missed it. All right.
It was nice.
Was it good?
It was nice.
All right.
It was not well attended.
Good. Not by me, but, all right.
At least by town personnel, it wasn't well attended. We had a couple from planning board. I was there. Were you there?
No.
You weren't there.
So what
Cammy
day,
was there.
what day next week do we wanna kinda pencil in for
I'm
executive?
gonna throw out Monday if we can pull it off. Anybody else? Let me see, actually, let me check that, but I'm pretty sure I would prefer Monday if we can pull it off.
Do you want Cobalt Construction here?
I think so, yeah, why don't we have them here?
That'll be Monday the 23rd,
Yep. That would be my preference if we can do it.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, as
Sure.
early as you can.
Well,
I can do 4 o'clock.
you can do 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I can easily do. I could do 3:30, but it makes it tougher day if
4 o'clock would be
4 o'clock.
preferable.
All right. So 4 o'clock on the 23rd, we're gonna have a selectmen's workshop.
Subject to, I mean, if Jack's guy doesn't come through with something, then we really don't have a lot to talk about.
Well, we can always cancel it last minute if we need to.
Yeah.
I still haven't. I've had a ton of stuff going on at work, so I still haven't had a chance to go over the bids from A&B Locksmith and Night Security.
I mean,
I know I pressed them to get it to us,
We can-
which they did, but
maybe spend a little time on that on
Yeah.
Monday too.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all I'm looking for is a recommendation. I'm not gonna go through the bids. I don't know what I'm talking about or reading about or anything.
Okay. Any other business? Seeing none.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Cool.